we went to buy a mug at the pound shop and spent about an hour deciding which
we realised what we were doing after about 10 minutes, like assessing
which was the best mug to drink out of, and we concluded these ones because they're quite short and stumpy.
We still disagreed on which one's the actual best.
Because I like China mugs, but we decided that China mugs were the best to drink out of, so we went for this one. The problem was the sticker that was on it that said 79p. Damo said that would be alright on there to leave it on, and it just so happens that that's exactly what I'm drinking out of, so not too great. But yeah, mugs. Because it's freezing in here, we need mugs.
Need to keep warm. Why don't you tell us what you bought me for Christmas and where you got them from? Because I still don't believe you.
I decided to buy Damo some sweets because he loves sweets.
What kind?
Fizzy ones.
In the shape of?
Cock. So yeah, he ain't brought me my Christmas present yet, but I'm sure it won't be long in the post.
No, I've got something in mind, but obviously you have to wait.
I mean, he did buy me once a well, probably one of the most civilised presents he brought me is like a stick man, like a black stick man from Thailand or somewhere. Can you remember that?
Oh yeah, that was quite normal for me.
Yeah, it's quite normal. But then on other occasions, he's brought me back a dancing cow. So yeah,
which always pops.
Normally, when you buy something, it's from the different point of the world. So I don't know where I was dancing cows. I mean, in India, Italy,
skiing, yeah.
Yeah,
drunken.
That was
a brilliant idea at the time to buy a dancing cow.
Do you want to go first?
It's always as a promoter, it's difficult. It's difficult to gauge your events and what you're doing, who you're booking. There's a lot of thought that has to go into every little part of it to get the return on your investment. So we have to put bigger events on now to sort of cater for the current market and make sure that we get the numbers in to sort of to fulfil our directors' needs financially to keep the club open, basically. So there's loads of thought that goes into selecting each individual DJ, who likes which ones and which ones we feel are going to get a big return back off, and ultimately put on a great party and keep the ball rolling and the brand name's alive and kicking, so to speak.
I mean, that's the same for me really at Storm, but I'm quite a bit of a geek on analytics and sort of looking at what's happening in the economy and the external and the internal factors of the industry as a whole. And since sort of 2008, the last sort of 4 years, which have been sort of steadily declining, just rapidly declining because of the recession. 2012 was the first year that the industry sort of flatlined, and the bigwigs and the sort of people that do all the reports and things say that from 2012 up until 2016, they've sort of predicted sort of a nice tangible growth pattern. It'll mean that things like pubs, there was originally, I think it was about 75 pubs going out of business every week, and now it's only 12. There's a lot of nightclubs that have gone into liquidation or closed. All the syndicate in Blackpool, other little venues up and down the country that have either been closed, and so it's not been tough. It's not been easy for music venues or pubs in general, but
especially the bigger ones. Yeah,
especially the big ones, because what people forget is the business rates go on square footage. So if you've got sort of 8,000 square feet nightclub, a super club that holds 2,500 people, and the council, I'm not going to give figures, but the council are taking literally enough money off you every week to pay for a small family car just in business rates. So if you're not open one week, there's a small family car, and that's what you have to keep paying to them. And people forget that. And something that I mentioned on Facebook the other day that really gets my back up is, I know we're in a recession and everyone's not got a lot of money, but when we do sell tickets for £20 or when we take £20 at the bar, George Osborne automatically gets £4 of that £20, so we only get £16. I mean, that's an average price of the tickets. It's rarely over 20 quid, it's normally under. I mean, Storm Classics and Passion Classics is normally sort of 5, 10, 15 quid, so it's even less. But the government do take sort of a big percentage off the tickets and the bar price, and you've got to pay your overheads out of that, which is literally thousands and thousands every week, and the production, which we'll talk about in a bit, but more so, you know, that's even before you've started thinking about DJs.
Yeah.
You know, and that's probably the main reason why so many clubs and pubs, thousands, have gone bad. But hopefully, if the big wigs that are predicting the growth are right, then we're going to start seeing a sort of growth pattern that's sustainable now. Bloody hell, my average day in total, I'll probably get up at about 6:30, get the porridge on the go, probably do what everyone does, probably get Facebook on before you've even opened the second eye. I didn't mean I meant
What are you doing with your phone?
I meant my eyes. And then go downstairs. I just brought a new Christmas tree, a real one, so that needs watering. So that's my daily ritual. And then get to the club. Sometimes, 9 o'clock, 10ish. I'll ring Jukes on the way every morning. I speak to Jukes probably every hour of every day. Find out what the plan for the day is with the Storm work and what his plan for the Xstatic and the festival stuff. Get to the Emporium. Damo's are pretty similar, but he'll probably go to the gym and do
same pretty much.
Yeah, go to gym and that, and then we do loads of stuff. People do tend to think that we sit in the office all day, don't we? Doing nothing,
drinking coffee,
and making jokes about plasticine man and cola cocks.
We do that, but we do get a lot of work done as well. There's a lot of a lot of things that you wouldn't think go into the planning of events, down to the minute detail, and especially when you're working with international artists, you've got to get them all done down to the T as well.
Yeah, and it's not just that, because there's only me and Damo work at the club. I mean, when I first started working here, well over sort of 12, 13 years ago, there was like there's 3 offices here, the boardroom next door, and there was probably 17 people that worked in these offices in total, you know, including the promoters and Bob and the directors and, you know, Pav and all the rest of the guys. Now there's just me and Damo, and that's it. There's one guy that does all the rest of the work, Chris Longfinger, who's, if it weren't for him, definitely the club wouldn't be here. He's definitely the guy that makes everything tick in it. I mean,
big cog,
you know, big Chris Longfinger. And if you do see him at the club, just ask him to show you his finger. It's the longest finger you've ever seen in your
massive.
Life. Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, so I mean, what we do is emails. The phone rings. One of the
I was
things,
even hoovering the other day.
Hoovering, yeah. Obviously, all the bookings, the promotion, and the other events that we do at the Emporium that we have to book in, like Ravers Reunited, Decades. We had like Yoruba Grooves, Dreamscape, and all the other ones. We still coordinate when they come in and when they go, and you know, everything from booking artists, promoting them, doing the creative side. There's loads, and there's never any time where we've not got nothing to do, is there?
No. It's one of the jobs where you have to sort of think on your feet a little bit, and you've always got to be thinking forward of. We sit there racking our brains, just thinking of new ways to promote the events, because a lot of promotion methods and techniques have been
the same now.
Used and done. But so we always try and think of new, unique ways to sort of put our point across to what we're trying to sell. One
of the things we do, which is sort of, I don't mind saying on camera, we try and do things that are different, like. Instead of giving flyers to people outside of the clubs, we'll actually go to the effort of getting an envelope, putting the flyers in the envelope, getting a stamp, sticking the stamp on, writing the envelope and sending it to the door. So they open the door to the postman, they're eating the cornflakes and reading the flyer before they go to work. We haven't got no one in to do that. We do that ourselves, you know. And many times a year we're spent writing sort of 4,000 envelopes, aren't we?
Yeah, sticking the stamps on.
Proper ridic. Come on, I'd say that. So, and then we'll go home. I'll make the log flyer. He'll probably get the sushi on the go. Not that our same houses.
It'd be weird if it was.
Yeah, it would be a bit weird.
I got the sushi on the go while you lit the log fire.
A bit close. And then I'll spend from about 6 o'clock till 9 o'clock doing my uni assignments. 9 o'clock till 12 o'clock speaking to Jukesy about what we've got to do the next day. And then it all starts again.
kind of like the last question, really, a little bit. The fewer events, basically, with their bigger events, and that's to cater for more people, which evidently we aim to get more people in and put bigger parties on and make more money and do them less often than having smaller budgeted events and doing them more often, getting less people in and making smaller profits. So doing the bigger events in the new format that we've been doing for the last sort of 12 months or whatever, financially it's completely different to what I was doing the previous 12 months, in a positive way. And the parties that we've been putting on as well they've been spectacular, some of them, with their production and the bigger DJs. People are sort of asking to come and play here again. It's really amazing. It's then the people, the clubbers are loving it. There's a really special thing going on. It's passion, especially, as well as Storm. And you do well with the Friday night recently, haven't you, with a similar sort of concept?
Just going back to all the DJs that want to play. I mean, we had a record week. I think it was the week before Friday night. We had around about 75 demos sent in to me and Damo in a week. I mean, we normally get about 40 a week, but like 75, it's just getting a bit ridiculous. You know, I'm really happy that people want to play here, and that's not the DJs that do ring you on a daily basis saying, "Can we get in?" And you know, so it's just impossible. So if there's DJs that are watching this and they're thinking, "Why have we never got back to them?" It's just because it's just impossible to get through these demos. Yeah. You know, it really is. I mean, Storm is exactly the same as what Damo said. We've shortened the formats down. We've shortened the amount, the months in between. Instead of doing every 12 months, I mean, literally 12 months ago, we were doing events once a month, and it was a big decision, really, for something that's been running for sort of, you know, the last 15 years.
Well, it went weekly to monthly, didn't it? So that was a step, and then a step, and then another step that we've gone to now.
It was a decision that we didn't take lightly. We thought about it a lot long and hard, and thought, you know, if we're going to do this, make the events less often, then we've got to. I mean, mine and Damo's job, in a nutshell, is to make sure that the clubbers have the best possible time. What are you laughing at? It's just a nutshell. It's just the best possible experience for the clubbers, and obviously making sure they're safe and they get something new and an experience. And on the other hand, making the directors obviously a return on their investment. So it's a balancing act for us. So on one side, we have to sort of make sure that if we're going to commit to doing these events that are less often and bringing less money in every month, we've got to make these work. And there's hundreds of thousands, if not millions of pounds riding on these decisions that we make. So it was definitely, I was going to say twitchy bum time then, but I won't. Yeah, sort of to the previous question. I mean, for me, apart from the problem of obviously the billions of demos, obviously there's now shorter. There's less events. We've gone from sort of 12 events. For me, really, Storm's probably 5 events, because we've got things like Back to the 90s, which is an unconventional event that's sort of different genres of music through the 90s. So you can't really call that a Storm event. It's more of a sort of an old school event. But one of the main problems that I've got in the last sort of 2 or 3 months, there's been about at least 10 really high-profile, well-respected DJs that I completely love and get on with, that have emailed me or called me and have been like, "What's going on, Jimmy? Like, why have I not had a booking for you know, quite a while?" And then I've thought, shit, you know, I haven't actually booked them for a while, and it's not because I don't like them. And a lot of them automatically thought that it's because I didn't like them. It's definitely not the case. It was simply because we've reduced from 12 events down to sort of 5, and trying to fit, you know how many DJs are in our house into a 9-hour event is, again, just impossible. So I want to say to them all, I've not fell out with any of you. I'll do my best to get all of you in soon. Different for you though, innit, I suppose?
Well, what, with booking DJs, you mean?
Yeah, because I mean, there's only sort of so many A-list trance and B-list trance DJs in the world, aren't there?
You have to keep your lineups fresh. I mean, there's a lot of, we were talking about this the other day, a lot of trance events, I feel they're all very similar lineups. They've all got very similar headliners with a sort of regurgitated lineup,
recycling over again,
recycled lineups. Yeah, so to keep it fresh, I mean, you have to think outside the box a little bit, and for Passion,
get your quirky out.
Get your quirky out. Yeah. Yeah, for Passion's birthday next year, we've had a guy. He's not played. I think he's played once in the UK, and loads of people are going for. Absolutely.
Are you actually going to say his name?
Yeah.
Sound.
Well, he's not. He's making his Passion debut. He's not an A-lister yet, but I've been told the guys on the crest of a wave by some important people in the music industry. So I got a quote, and the fees they wanted were far too much. So we negotiated, so it was more workable. And since I put it on Facebook, I had more feedback than I've had for people like Paul van Dyk and things like this. Just the response and stuff. So a side chance guy called Neelix is doing a live show for us. And I've put the birthday tickets on sale with just him on already, and they're literally just flown out. So
that's every trans promoter in the UK now trying to get Neelix.
There you go.
But you seen him here first.
Yeah, he was here first.
That was very cheesy, didn't it? You seen him here first, folks. I think it's fantastic. I think the ideal sort of concept that I'm a big fan of Amadeus Mozart. I think everything that he does really is creative, innovative, and people respond to it in a really positive way. So for him to sort of stop what he's doing with all of his sort of corporate business with the Square Daisy stuff to focus on the ideal weekender, I think it's people should be really, really happy for it, you know, that he took the time to do that. So I think I mean, they did actually ask me if, you know, I wanted to come on board and help him a bit with the sort of logistics side of the ideal weekender, and I'm definitely going to do it. Just got to find time to slot everything in. But it's good that Sam's sort of one of the main guys that's doing it there. I really got a lot of respect for Sam Townend, and it can only be a good thing. Long may it continue.
Are there any big DJs coming up? Well, we want to keep the sort of theme of the events, the big events that we've been doing over the past sort of 12 months. So it is going to continue in that sort of in that way. But as I just mentioned, Neelix is the next sort of the next name I can say for the birthday. But other than that, there's going to be a few surprises. A couple of things I'm working on at the minute that might raise a few eyebrows, but it would 100% work. I know
there's quite a few more big DJs with Neelix and all.
Yeah, there is. Yeah. But I'll announce the full lineup for the Passion birthday, which is on March 2nd next year. But that full lineup will be coming probably in the next, well, before Christmas anyway.
Well,
what paid you the most?
I've been. I like to think I'm the most fairest person I can be. It's a toss-up between. Why do you laugh at things that are ridiculous? It's a toss-up between trying to keep what the DJs, you know, the DJs that want to play in and happy, but also ultimately we're going to listen to what the clubbers and the people that attend the club want. Simple as that, really. We just sort of, do you want these? Yes. Do you want them? No. And because we're on Facebook every day, Twitter every day, we seem to be able to know the DJs that people want, and it's a simple fact that if enough people want a certain DJ, and that when we book that DJ, there's going to deliver both to the attendees and the clubbers, and financially for us, they'll definitely get booked. Bottom line.
Pretty similar with the Passion guys, really. We sort of know for over the years who's worked financially for us. That's the main thing. But I think you get the best response from the clubbers, especially with social media now. You can find out which sort of DJs people like the most. You can gauge from previous events. You can gauge who sort of played the best sets. So you can get a feeling of what people want from seeing things like that. And basically the lineups with the bigger chance guys. I mean, you know, the more expensive ones, you know, they're going to sell generally. They're going to get a return on them, and then the sort of smaller B-list and C-list DJs, you get a feedback from, like I say, social media, and you can sort of piece together like a lineup that you think will work from that, really.
I mean, we're all for pushing the new breed as well.
Yeah,
you know,
definitely.
We've like I don't know if people have noticed this year as well. Last year, I made a sort of commitment, as well as reducing the amount of events, to make sure that the DJs that really should have broke through, and if we were 10 years back, then there would have definitely been big DJs.
It's harder times now.
It is, yeah. I mean, like difficult. This year, you've had people like Craig Lee, Kirsty, Carl, or Rich Alpin, and all those kind of DJs that have, you know, deserve a lot of respect for constantly never giving up when really it's really frustrating. They've all played in the main room at Storm this year, and I'm going to do that again next year. You know, it's important to try and fit them in. It just doesn't make my job any easier when you've got Lucy, who's Storm resident, and she's there for the right reasons, and so is Alf Technical, who are both brilliant DJs, and they're going to be residents for a little while if they carry on sort of creating the demand that they are, and then obviously as well as me. So on a 9-hour schedule, if you've got us 3 residents and then a warm-up DJ or a new breed DJ, that's 4 hours gone already. You're always going to have sort of an A-list DJ, you know, DJs like Tidy Boys who never fail to deliver. They're always constantly, you know, everyone's there with the phones out, and then with them and maybe 1 or 2 others, you know, you've only got 2 or 3 hours left in the main room to fit 40, 50 DJs in. Impossible. My bit of French. Oui, oui. Oui, oui.
I've got a lot of friends.
How do you think about agents, Damo?
I've got a lot of friends who are agents as well, that I've known for the music industry, not just through being a promoter, and can sort of see why they work in the way they do, and it's just to get more money for their artists, better billing and high profile. But to work with them as a promoter can be sometimes a little, well, they all kind of fighting over each other with when it comes to billing and things, and
Gets
sometimes it
ridiculous,
absolutely makes my job a nightmare, and they're the times I don't like agents. But generally, once you've agreed sort of the principles of a deal within booking an artist, the rest of it is a formality really, especially if you've got good working relationships with them.
I mean, I can see from an agent's point of view where they've got you've got the businessman at the end of the day, or woman. They've got a job to do. They've got to try and get their artist as far up the bill as possible, and they've got to try and get as much money from them as possible. I completely understand that. I mean, there's business, you know. We want them cheaper, and they want to get more money from them. But some things that I don't like, all these sort of make-believe agencies that people set up that, you know, and then send you random emails saying, you know,
Wormland.
Yeah, and all, yeah, that stupid Wormland one. And a random clubber will just set up an agency, what they think's an agency, send you an email and say, I've got him, her and him, can we all get them in? And I think, right, the people that have had no knowledge of the industry, they've got no respect for, you know, I mean, not no respect, sounds bad, but they just don't understand the industry, and they don't know the industry enough to ask to get their DJs in. They're just doing it because they think it's cool to be an agent. So that's that rant over. On the flip side, there's not really many agents for our dance at all. I mean, there's 2 agents that I work with constantly, and there's a new agent that, again, is one of my best friends, Sam Townend, who'll be running the Ideal Management. You know, Sam is a DJ, and also he knows the crack. You know, he knows that some events will not make as much money as others, and I mean, a lot of events don't make any money at all. And like all of Sam's artists and the DJs that already play here are fantastically good at understanding that if we made a lot of money, they'd make a lot of money, and they know what money's to be made, and they're just not a lot. Another guy that I've got a lot of respect for, a lot of time for, is Barry Almond from PFA. Damo deals with Barry and I deal with Barry at the same time. He's probably only one of the last big agents that were left out of the sort of 90s odd dance and odd house boom. He's very understanding. He communicates very well. He's just an all-round good guy, and I always work with him. And there's a couple of international ones, sort of Platinum and people like that we work with as well.
I think it's harder with the international ones because the UK market is so different to any other territory where an agent would book their artists into. I mean, especially when I go abroad, for example, a lot of my gigs are sponsored, so they're going to get money, external money coming in to pay for the events, pay for the artists. So 9 times out of 10, the international artists are going to be getting a lot more money when they're playing abroad, and that's probably why you see loads of tours with the bigger DJs. But when it comes to the UK, I don't think we can actually compete when it comes to booking the A-listers, your Tiestos, whatever, like that big. You can't compare financially with that.
It's definitely credit to people like Dimitri, though.
Yeah.
And people, you know, I don't really know the rest of them, but I mean, Dimitri that I've known a while, that's brought Tiesto here and brought now Ferry Corsten. I mean, I won't name any names, but I can remember a few years ago someone saying to us, why would I want to bring my artist to a bankrupt rock in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean? Meaning England is a bankrupt rock when I can. What's the point in getting sort of 10, 15 grand here when I can go and get 150 grand there? So it is good that you know.
The thing is, the UK market has got a lot of intelligent clubbers, and it's especially when
they're
it
not
comes
stupid, are they? Yeah,
and probably more intelligent than a lot of other places in the
around
world.
yeah,
and they're so clued up about the music, and they're actually real clubbers. I mean, especially the people in this place. I mean, John O'Callaghan is manager the other night, said they go out around the world. It's like a. But when they come here, it was like a scene out of Human Traffic. There was like a really cool
techno boy said exactly the same thing.
Like a really cool sort of crowd, and I think the big artists do need to play in the UK for those reasons alone, and especially for this top 100 rubbish, which they're all involved with. I mean, there's a lot of people here who do vote for that. So I think as a DJ, I mean, some of the best parties are actually.
I think that's part of our longevity as well, and the reason that sort of Passion and Storm have been going for sort of 18 years and 13 years is because of the fact that the clubbers that come here, they aren't like, you know, commercial or idiots. They're genuine people that know everything about everyone, and that, you know, you can't treat them like sheep. They know everything, and
you might
well respected. Well, I've now booked the majority of my DJs for Fright Night, the Return of Satan, on Halloween, the Return of Satan. I mean, he was here the other week.
I saw him.
It was actually, people didn't know this because we didn't do the video in, but there was actually chalk marks on the wall, writing on chalk that we rubbed out, and the next day went back and it was there again, and it fucking freaked us out. So I don't know how far down the Satan road I want to go, but that's why we didn't do a Ouija board for the people that didn't know it Fright Night. So yeah, going back to the original question, I've booked, you know, I'm down to Halloween 2013, and obviously the festival stuff has to be done way in advance.
Yeah, on the trans stuff, the bigger artists have to be booked far in advance because they're obviously quite heavily requested globally, so you have to sort of try and pick your day when you think it's going to be a good day, a strong day like a bank holiday, or when you know there's not a lot of competition on, then try and sort of get your headliner in on that date, and then sort of put the rest of the puzzle together around it, sort of thing. But yeah, talking 6 months further.
6 months easy. Time, yeah. It's a good time. Tricky subject that is, Jack. You know, because on the one hand you've got a lot of the biggest and the most respected DJs in the world who are quite old now.
Who still are the most respected.
Yeah, and there's several arguments to this. One argument would be, it doesn't matter who's playing the music, as long as it's music being played well and they're selecting and whether they're mixing it well, whether they're playing it off a laptop or fucking, you know, a bongo, I don't care. As long as it's good music and they're playing it, you know, crack on. However, in nightclubs and sort of post 2010, pre 2010, there was a lot of there's not a lot of people doing production and sort of putting big shows on, which is more visually. It was all about clubbers just looking at a DJ, and really
it was about the skill of mixing, the art of being a DJ mixing tracks. Now it's about the artist as a whole. Like, I mean, you see people in the top 100 DJ mag have only been playing for 6 months. It's not about being a DJ anymore. It's about being an artist, like a brand, so to speak.
And the age thing, really, do 18 and 19-year-old clubbers want to be seeing a sort of 55, 60-year-old dad behind the decks, or even granddad, would it be that? So I think with all the due respect in the world, it is time for the next generation to come through, else we're just not going to have an industry.
There is room for everyone though.
Not in Storm, there ain't.
There is. There's got to be. If the people are there and they like it, there's always going to be.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, I mean,
there's always opportunity for new people to come through.
It's just got to be supply and demand, ain't it?
They've just got. They've got to be good enough and stand out from the crowd to actually break through into that.
It's down to them to make level. It, yeah.
Which again, it used to be. Well, it's more difficult now because there's millions of people doing it. Absolutely millions.
Yeah,
of people, 15
everyone wants to be a DJ.
And,
even the postman knocked at the door the other day and said, "You know, have you got any tunes I can have?" I'm going to uni because I want to obviously make my mum proud of me. You know, a bit cheesy, but
learn your sums.
Learn my sums. I didn't do very well at school, so
2 out of 8,
10. So yeah, I'm going to uni to try and learn to make sure I'm not missing anything. Obviously, everyone knows that I run the majority of the logistics with Jukesy for the festival and everything from the planning all the way through to the event day logistics and things like that. But ultimately, my mum's a very clever lady. She's already got a degree. She's a teacher, and got a bit of a little joke that she's got a picture on her living room wall with like the square hat on and the scroll, and there's just like a hook next to that says Jimmy underneath it, and waiting for my picture with the hat on. My brother and sister are very clever as well. My sister is almost like an award-winning global hairstylist now. She might be on the Channel 4 primetime programme for quite a while soon. And my brother's a very talented young lad who probably takes a bit too long in the mirror getting ready. So I'm getting my degree to mainly impress my family and my girlfriend Anna, who's a nurse, and she's very clever. And I'm really the one that's the mong.
New music. I've just been writing some stuff for Above and Beyond's and Junior Beats label. So they've released a new album. I'm not sure when exactly. So I've got a few tracks coming out on that. I've done a remix for their classic Home as well, which will be coming out. I don't know actually. I'm not sure.
But the big labels, these are massive labels. I mean, I won't tell you how much money they pay me in advance, but it sometimes makes me physically sick.
Millions of dollars.
Pesos. Trying to think if I can give you anything exclusive. Passion will definitely be back. Obviously, the Storm will be back. There's a few little bits and bobs that we're going to be doing this year. I keep thinking it's this year, it's next year, but it's just been this year. Next year we're going to have a live stage with like live sort of bands on and things like that, which was always the intention anyway. One of the things is, with the festival, it isn't just an odd dance festival or a trance festival. House and things like that are prominent. We've got some really brilliant and big house DJs booked in for next year. But there is talk that we could introduce camping, but it'd have to be on like a level where people pitch the tents on the Saturday morning between sort of 6 in the morning and 10:30, and then went to the festival, left the festival and went to the tents. And it wouldn't be like an all singing or dancing crazy party where you could bring your decks and alcohol. It'd be like a VIP camping thing where there'd be showers, 4 or 5 security guards on site in close proximity, all lit up. I always said that if I wanted to do the camping thing with the festival, it's got to stick to the USPs, and the USPs of the festival are to have the cleanest toilets in the industry, reduce queuing times, make sure drinks have all got ice in, and all the things that people hate about festivals. Else there's no point in doing a festival. It's got to be you've got to find your place in the market, and to do that we've just got to keep on the sort of established path. So there is a few things that I don't want to say now. But it's all looking very, very good for the festival, yeah.
Yeah, this New Year's Eve we've got Passion versus Storm again. We didn't have Passion in the club last year, so we thought we'd bring both brands back to the front and do like a sort of combined event. The lineup, it's not as big as we've been doing for our Passion and Storm events over the last 12 months, but we didn't want it. We didn't want it always to be about superstar DJs and always to be about a brand of a DJ.
We've been there, done that.
Yeah, we wanted this one to be more about just having a good time and just people coming to the club just for the love of the club and the love of Passion and the love of Storm. So the lineup was basically built around a concept that we did in 2009, which was amazing. Like for like DJs on the lineup, it's pretty similar, and we did we sell out, or was it 18, 19?
Yeah, 18, 1900, and you can't really ask for much more than that. I think one of the main things that we've kept in mind for New Year's Eve is that it's normally expensive to go out clubbing anyway, especially with taxes and things on New Year's Eve. So we've kept the tickets really cheap. I mean, at the moment, they're 13 quid. I mean, 13 quid for a New Year's Eve ticket. And even when they go up, it's only 16 quid and then 20 quid sort of a couple of days before the New Year's Eve. Now, that is cheaper than the majority of events that we do anyway. Yeah, same kind of thing was what Damo said, really, with Storm. Still a massive lineup. And
I wanted to have a bit more of a concept with this one, though. I mean, you see the white parties and things like that, but we thought we'd...
Killed.
Yeah, but it's been done a lot. So the Passion colours are generally, in my eyes anyway, blue and sort of red colours, aren't they? So we want our clubbers to sort of wear blue for Passion and red for Storm, and then just sort of have a little bit of a...
I'm really seeing who's fucking boss.
A little bit of a battle of the brands, and see if you get any rogue like red clubbers in the Passion room, and vice versa.
Yeah, it's definitely a a good thing, because there's a lot of people that come to Passion that go to Storm as well, and it's good for them. And seeing on the event page, you know, the amount of people that are talking like, oh, I don't know, you know, I love this and I love that. But I just think it's unilaterally, it's people that love the club in general.
Yeah, it is the club.
I think you'll find a lot of people coming half in blue and half in red, and having one foot in the Storm, one foot in the Passion.
Dancing in the corridor.
Dancing in the corridor.